Ooh, baby, it's cold outside. Yes, and we're just minutes away from the end of time. Um, but we already had Donnie for 4 years. We know what he's like. He's a petulant little penguin, and with a carrot head. No one takes him serious, but that's because everyone else is connected to the script. It's all a scripted soap opera, right? And we pretty much haven't had, I mean, from our fathers on, it's been a scripted, we're not a Christian country. We never were. First Amendment, Congress will not make a law that makes a state sponsored religion, right? We're not a Christian country. Those guys, none of those guys were Christian. They were all pagan, Masonic, Teutonic plutocrats, pretty much what we got today. It's nothing different than the billion bros. What really matters is you. What are you doing? Like right now it's minus 9 degrees, and we had rain. It got warm yesterday. Most of the snow that was left from the last snowstorm kind of was gone, and then it got really cold, and then we had sleet, and then we had about an inch or so of puffy snow, and now it's so cold that's connecting to the surface of the roadways and steps and such, and ooh, baby. So I'm here in the undisclosed location, and it's I'm sitting right next to an electric heater, and it's 58 degrees in here. Normally it was 62 without any real effort. But it's minus 9 just outside, and it's cold, cold, cold. I want to touch base with you and tell you, be of good heart, be of good cheer. And every day in every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Don't let yourself get distracted by the destructive toxicity of our political system. It's always been this way. We had slavery for almost 100 years, I mean, actually, from 1492 until today, we've had slavery. We have work slaves. We have every kind of slave. And the only good slave there is the doula to love's co-creation, right? When you have that agape love for all our relations, because that is, the burning bush said it itself. I am a reflection of all of you. You were not made in my image and likeness. I was made in your image and likeness, right? And if you anthropomorphize God into this bag of water that we are, well, then you got issues, Okay, let's see. No, I can't do it. Well, you never know. Let's give it a try. See what happens. Okay. Do. That is
from the bottom up.
Hello, and welcome to the Politics Girl podcast. I'm your host, Lee McGowan. Let's get into it. This is the last episode of the Biden administration. When this podcast airs next week, we will have entered the second Trump administration, and they are promising shock and awe. So this is perhaps the last time we can be reflexive and contemplative about our politics, because for at least the known future, we will probably find ourselves being reactive, and that is a hard place to find wisdom. So I've asked my friend David Bender to join us today because aside from being Rachel Maddow's self-described political guru, he is also mine, and he's one of the wisest people I know. If you aren't familiar with David, he has spent 5 decades as a political activist, beginning when he took what he calls a leave of absence from 7th grade to become a full-time volunteer for Bobby Kennedy's presidential campaign. David went on to report on the presidential campaigns of Richard Nixon, George McGovern, and Hubert Humphrey. He was a key aide to the legendary liberal rights activist Allard Lowenstein, pivotal in both the civil rights movement and the anti-Vietnam War movement. David served on the national field staff for California Governor Jerry Brown's 76 presidential campaign and Senator Edward Kennedy's 1980 presidential campaign. When JFK Jr. launched his political and cultural magazine George, David was his first West Coast contributing editor. David was also the host of Air America's Politically Direct, where he regularly interviewed influential voices in politics and media like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Gore Vidal, and is currently a columnist for the Washington Spectator. For me, he is one of the most politically savvy people I know, and I thought you would get something out of hearing what he has to say at this pivotal moment in American history.
Robots.
So without further ado, please welcome my guest, political expert, author, and man with enough wisdom for 10 political lifetimes, David Bender. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back in a new century. Is this 20?
It's a new quarter century. It's a new quarter century.
It is, yeah. And when does George Washington leave the quarter and they put Trump on it?
Oh my God, pretty soon.
Of course, he will get a percentage of each coin.
It took us 3,000 years to understand how our hearing actually works. I'm 78, but I can hear like I was.
But nobody listens. They may be able to hear, but they don't listen or cognitate or think about it or do any of that stuff you're supposed to be doing. Well, I hope you are, and I gotta put a pair of pants on. It's getting too nippy. So, had a pretty good night's sleep. Had a lot of dreams. That's always
Let me
a
show
good
you
thing.
how these men went from constantly asking, What? Can you repeat?
What? Yeah, what did you say?
Even in noisy restaurants, without expensive hearing aids and endless appointments, in just 14 days. For a very long time, since ancient Greece, we've...
That seems fair.
You're horrifying me, and you know perfectly well he doesn't want to be on a coin. He's going to want those Benjamins to be named after him. Now listen, I'm going to say off the top of this that you and I both live in Los Angeles. So you are evacuated from your place right now because of the fires, and you're in a hotel. And if we hear dogs in the background at any point, those are your little...
Those are the police dogs coming to get you. Okay, I'm going to go now. I'll see you in an hour or two.